Welcome to the Mikey and D experience. Second night in a row, man. We're going live. So we were not going to podcast tonight, but Chad and I and John are on the same softball team, and they decided to cancel our game tonight. And
pussies.
They are pussies.
So here we are.
So Chad and I are next door neighbors, but John has to come all the way from Carmel. He and his wife drove all the way down to the south side from the north side of town. And
which is what, John?
40-minute
drive?
Needless to say,
It's like
they're pretty pissed.
20, 25.
So I said, well, this is a great opportunity to bring him back on the podcast. So here we are.
I am back.
How you doing, John?
Get ready. Get ready for what's going to happen the next half hour because I am here.
This is you're really building this up quite a bit.
Yeah. don't let us down.
So we've got John here. We got Fisherman, Chad. We got Mikey. Pacers hired Rick Carlisle today. I already know your opinion on it. You can tell me again, Chad.
Not a fan. Not a fan. I like Rick Carlisle as a coach. He's a great coach. Probably going to be a Hall of Fame coach.
Exactly.
Day.
So yeah. So you don't like that?
But he's had his stint here. Look what happened.
Not saying that the Malice
in the Palace is his fault.
That's what everyone thinks of. But he had a really good. That team would have gone to the finals.
That was really
2004 team.
That was a good team
with Artest, O'Neal, Steven Jackson. That was a great team, man. They would have gone to the finals, guaranteed.
But I'm a believer in new blood sometimes. Sometimes it takes new blood. I would have loved to see Jason Kidd, Chauncey Billups, somebody like that.
Chauncey Billups just doesn't have the... I mean, he's got the player pedigree, but he doesn't have the coaching pedigree.
Sometimes the best coaches come from players. Phil Jackson was a player.
Hell, Rick Carlisle was a player. If you want to go there,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you take that newer. It's time to get newer breed in. You know, there's a lot of older coaches in the NBA, and I personally think it's time to bring in some young, new, fresh blood.
But that's a risk. I mean, a lot of those guys, there's a reason they're unproven.
Right.
They could be that's tough too. I mean, Rick Carlisle, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a pretty solid team.
But does his coaching pedigree does it fit the Pacers roster right now?
I think it does.
He's a spread the floor, fire it from anywhere.
That's what we need, honestly.
Yeah, but we got two bigs that can't shoot.
I'm not going to say that's incorrect, but
Doma's not a 3-point threat.
Miles is a 3-point threat. They don't let him shoot outside enough.
I don't see a 30% shooter from behind the arc really a threat. Is he a really good defender? Yes. Does he need to be on the Pacers roster? Absolutely.
No.
Also, back in the day, Jermaine O'Neal wasn't a shooter. So,
and they adapted well.
I think Rick Carlisle back in the day, like that wasn't his style. So
no.
Maybe with a different personnel, maybe he'll coach differently.
Since you mentioned that, and back in the day, their style was defense. That's how they won.
And even when he was a Pistons coach, same thing.
And the thing is, defense. We have no defense right now. So
do we have the talent to play?
I think we do.
There's a bigger problem.
But I think Bjorkgren as well as McMillan, you see how the Hawks are now. McMillan's more a run and gun type coach, I believe. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I feel like he's more of a offensive coach, offensive minded maybe, because our defense over the past few years has been horrible.
Dismal at best. We
have to win by scoring more than the other, by outscoring the other team, like the old Colts teams that had a horrible
shootout,
horrible defense, but they relied on Payne to put up 4 or 5 touchdowns a game. Mm-hmm. So I mean that's kind of where I'm at on it, but I don't think it's a bad decision at all. Honestly, I'm pretty hyped about it. But
what's your guys? You brought up Nate McMillan. What's your guys' thoughts on him and what he's done with Atlanta as the interim?
Man,
being interim, should he still be in the running for Coach of the Year?
Is it him or is it Trae Young that's really doing the work?
No, I agree. That roster's incredibly young.
And I'm not going to.
Trae Young has been unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been insane.
Even when he's bad, he's still good.
Yeah.
I mean, his bad nights, he's still scoring 27 a game.
Yeah, I mean,
in that game 7, he was awful all night, and then he hit that big 3 that was huge for them.
Can he please cut his hair though? His hair's
on the Trae Young topic.
Don't worry, he's gonna lose it soon.
You know,
He's gonna be balling.
He's holding on to scraps right now.
the Mavs and Luka and Trae Young and the Hawks. That trade on draft night. Who won that trade?
I mean,
I
don't know, man.
Pick one right now.
Well, right now I'd say who has more potential to be the big star is Luka, but
yes, but
he doesn't have anybody around him.
But is that because of him, or is that because of the team? I almost wonder, like, how many players does he play really well with? I mean, and why did Rick Carlisle leave?
Yeah.
Maybe that he knew that team was just not
implode or something.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know the circumstances because I didn't research it before because we just found out today that Carlisle's the coach, so I haven't done a whole lot of research on it. But I don't know why. I mean, because we had like 3 coaches that we were looking at. He was not one of them, or that the media says the Pacers
an
were
immediate hire.
looking at that, and he was not one of them at all, which is not surprising because that's what honestly the Colts and Pacers both do. Whenever there's a coaching change, there's always speculation about who they'll hire, and they go way outside of anything the media says. I didn't hear his name come up once, Carlisle's,
No.
in any kind of sports, radio, anything, ESPN, whatever. I heard nothing about him. But you know, I think he's, I don't know. I think it's a redemption tour for him, honestly.
As a Pacers fan, I hope it works, and I hope he coaches his butt off, and I hope it works really well for him.
Yeah.
But as a pessimist, I'm going to say that it's probably a bad hire.
He knows he had that 2004 championship won too.
It was going to be a good finals.
If they didn't, man, that would have been so good.
It would have been a good finals.
Well, see, we were supposed to. Basically, us and the Pistons, the Pacers and the Pistons, were the 2 best teams in the East at that point.
Oh yeah,
man, what happened after that? I mean, John, obviously everyone knows is from Michigan, so I mean, you probably remember it from the opposite side.
Yes.
As being on that side, what did you think of? Because on our side, we think Ron Artest is a hero, and that asshole and the fans deserve what he got. You know, and Ben Wallace is a punk. You know, what coming from your side, what did you see?
Oh, Steven Jackson, the punk.
Yeah, I know. It's hard. It's
hard to argue that.
Ron Artest is a hothead who, I mean, what was he doing? He picked a fight with Ben Wallace, and then he laid on the back, just relaxing on the scoring on the table, relaxing, just like showing off to everyone, and then
I've got so much to say right now.
Go ahead.
Okay, so if you watch, Wallace, so
he was too scared to fight Ben Wallace, and rightfully so.
The foul on Wallace was a little dirty, I'll say, but it did not. The shove that Wallace gave Artest back was not that was uncalled for. And then, so Ron Artest has been going through counseling, and the reason
since he was 7,
the reason he sat on the scorer's table was because that was one of the techniques he had learned from his counselor.
Oh, that sounds like such bullshit.
Not necessarily to
okay, I'm going to have to agree with John. That sounds like bullshit.
Not necessarily to sit on the scorer's table, but take yourself out of the situation and try to breathe for a minute.
Okay,
and then some guys
gets shoved by Ben Wallace. He could get in a fight with Ben Wallace. He decides to walk away. He has the calm and cool collective to not get in a fight with some guy who's going to whoop his ass. And then he walks away, and then some little, like, fucking asshole just throws a cup at him, and he wants to beat that guy up. A guy who's, like, half the size of him.
Artest is insane. Of course he does.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Crazy. This guy is insane.
But I feel like Ben Wallace.
This guy he's a bully. That's
I feel like Ben Wallace knew he was insane though, and okay,
what's the company that does the celebrity boxing? Triller, is that the name of that company?
Yeah.
Triller. Ben Wallace, Meta World Peace. Put him in the ring, baby.
I saw.
I would pay pay-per-view.
Oh no! Did you see Ben Wallace this week?
Oh my God!
Yes.
He just got the number 1 pick. He just got the number 1 pick for the Pistons. He's great.
I looked at him. I was like, "Is that Ben Wallace?"
That's Ben Wallace.
I'm used to the big fro, you know. He had like the short gray hair. I'm like, damn, he's really turned into a grandpa. But man, yeah.
Cade Cunningham.
I mean,
they'll screw it up. They'll draft Scotty Barnes.
See, this is the thing.
And we'll see, just like the Darko.
They're going to take
Carmelo Anthony right in front of you.
Hold
Dwayne
on.
Wade, Chris Bosh. What do you choose?
I want to talk about that.
Okay, let's go.
Who's probably the worst number one pick besides? Wait, are you?
No, Darko is a number 2 pick.
No, top. Let's say lottery pick. Let's say lottery pick.
Okay, there's a lot of bad lottery picks.
Who's the worst lottery pick
ever?
Let's call it top 5. Who's the worst top 5 pick of all time? Because you can't go lottery. That's a lot of picks.
But you could say there are some really bad number 1 picks. Number 1 overall picks.
Yeah.
Michael Olowokandi.
Yeah.
What
I would have took him over Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown was going to be my choice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or Anthony. Who's the dude that went to the Cavs?
Yeah, that
What the
guy.
hell was his name?
Anthony Edwards?
No, he played Goose in Top Gun.
It was Anthony
it was Anthony.
It's
It was not
Edwards.
Anthony. It was not.
He
Anthony
was from
Edwards.
UNLV. 100%.
It was not Anthony Edwards. Well, it was the 20. I know it was the 2013 draft.
Yep, Anthony Edwards. UNLV.
It was not Anthony Edwards.
Who's
Anthony
the current
Bennett.
number 1?
Bennett. Anthony Bennett.
Anthony Bennett.
I was close.
That might be the worst pick ever. The worst like top.
Yeah,
5
that's a
pick.
pretty damn good one. That's
He
a pretty
was.
good one.
He's the one I always think of. But I do think of Darko.
But what about
Darko's up there.
What about the Blazers taking Sam Bowie
Well,
over Jordan?
Well, they had
the thing
Drexler at
was,
the time.
they didn't need Jordan at the time.
Yeah, but man, you could see the potential in that kid from right off the top.
You could also
Just like Darko.
You could also see the potential in Bowie too and Darko.
Yeah, but the
Okay.
problem with Darko is that at the time they had Chauncey Billups, they had Rip Hamilton, they had Tayshaun Prince.
Yeah.
They did not need guards. They did not.
No.
Now you could make the argument that they probably should have taken Chris Bosh over him because they did need at that time they needed size.
I would have just made that argument.
And-
That's a pretty
That's a
solid
fact.
argument. That's not even an argument.
But at the time, I mean, Darko had so much potential, but obviously.
I mean, you think about it now. You look back like, what the heck? Like, I mean, the Pacers have made their fair share of horrible picks. T.J. Leaf comes to mind. And, I mean, Alize Johnson, who actually is starting
He's
to look
not.
hard.
He's coming around a little
He is
bit.
because he's not
coming
with
around
us
a little bit.
anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They didn't utilize him enough.
Jonathan Bender.
Oh God, why'd you bring that one? I totally forgot about that one.
I'll never forget about Jonathan Bender.
That was so. I was watching. Man, I was watching The Last Dance a few weeks ago.
Who's the guy? Oh, sorry.
I was rewatching The Last Dance. I forgot how much of an asshole Isaiah Thomas was. Speaking of the Pistons, he was such an asshole.
Yeah, but
And I'm not even a Jordan fan. I hate Jordan, but Isaiah was just, man, what was wrong? What was his deal? Do you
Napoleon syndrome. Little guy syndrome.
Maybe.
He had to be a dick.
I hated him as a
When
coach.
you're his size.
he was from inner city Chicago.
Yeah, when you're that size, you're from inner city Chicago. You're gonna have a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You're going to every night. You're going against guys that are 5, 6, 8 inches taller than you, 100 pounds heavier than you. You have to be an asshole.
And
Take
in
your
those-
shots.
In back in those days, I mean, you go to war on the court. I mean, those fights that between them and the Celtics. I mean,
Yeah.
the Celtics were dirty too. Those guys, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert. I mean, these guys were assholes. I mean, they were all assholes.
They were talking about.
Johnson,
They were
Robert
talking about that.
Parrish. Those guys were dicks.
Absolutely.
On my way into work this morning, they were talking about that. How guys like Bill Laimbeer and a lot of those big guys that were in the middle that would just beat the shit out of whoever was coming down the line. They'd get a flagrant 2 before the second quarter started. Now
Yeah.
they'd be out of
But it
the
was just a
game.
personal foul.
But those were the rules back then. I mean, you're allowed to do that, so you had to intimidate
Right.
guys to make
Were they-
sure that
were-
they didn't go to the hole.
How much have the rules actually changed though since then? Have the rules actually really changed, or have they been more strict about what they allow and what they don't allow? Because I don't really know if the rules actually have changed.
I think it's strict, more strict now, because now the NBA is trying to protect, just like the NFL. They're trying to protect their faces of the franchises, the faces of the organization.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to keep them guys on the court.
I mean, I understand that, but
And the NBA
Because
these days is so soft.
But that also happened as soon as Jordan rose to prominence.
Right.
A lot of those rules changed.
yeah.
So
I mean, there are called the Jordan rules.
There's rules that
for
Jordan
a reason. They're called the Jordan rules for a reason. But man, I look at the game the way it used to be played. I mean, you're in the paint. It's a dogfight, man.
You're getting smoked in the paint.
Now a guy goes in the paint. he gets a little slap on the wrist, and it's 2 free throws. And I mean, kudos to them for knowing how to play the game.
But also, I mean, guys like James Harden, Trae Young, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous.
They're
As
taking
they're running
advantage
around,
of-
they get a touch, and then they're like flopping all over the place, like they get been hit in the head. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But that works.
They're playing. They know what works.
But back in the day, that would not have flown.
No.
It's like you have to get knocked in the ground.
And the opposite team would have kicked your ass after the game for doing that shit. Yeah. I mean, now it's just how it is these days. I mean, it's so soft. And
you look back at the 80s and 90s NBA, and you know your point guard was picking up a point guard, you know, full court or 3/4 length. He get to half court, and the center's there. You know, the Bill Laimbeer, Ronnie Cycles, they're standing at half court waiting on you because you picked up their point guard early. So they're going to smoke you and put you right on your ass immediately every time it happens.
But what's really impressive watching those games is just how good of shooters those guys were. I mean, you tend to think today's NBA that all these guys have such great range, but back in those days, all those guys, like you're saying, Bill Laimbeer, that guy could shoot 3-pointers all the time.
Yeah, there's
James Edwards. I mean, any of these guys, they were great players.
Arvydas Sabonis.
Yeah.
Was a great shooter. You know, you look at those guys back in the day, they were transcendent. You know, because they could shoot anywhere on the court, but they were 7 foot tall. And now, hell, if you're 7 foot tall, you better be able to shoot from half court. The game has transcended so much, just in the last 15 years. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean it's always going to be. I think really one of the things that is the game going to get more soft, or is it going to? Because I feel like people want it to be. Everyone is always talking about how it used to be, the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
Is it going to go back to that, or is it just going to keep getting softer and softer and softer until there's basically no defense to be played because you can't even brush up against the guy?
I hope they just shore up the nicky-knack fouls and the little bit of acting. If they shore that up, I think it'll be a great product to watch. But right now, I have trouble even watching the games.
Yeah, I get it, man.
I'm sick of sitting and watching, you know, James Harden take 15 free throws a game, or Trae Young taking a dozen free throws a game.
Yeah. Because
of these really, really soft, you know, fouls that in reality, I don't think they're fouls.
They're not. I mean, that's the thing. That's like, I think back in the. Back in the 80s, 90s, they were not fouls.
Well, with the exception of, one of our hometown heroes in Reggie Miller. Yeah. He was kind of the one. He was kind of one that really started developing the flop. You know?
Yeah, he did, but man, he was good at it, but I don't think he was always looking for a foul though. No. He wanted to score by any means possible. I think now it's
just he was a smart player.
He was, and he was a fucking career 90% free throw shooter. Why wouldn't he want to go to the line?
Put him on the line every chance I could.
You know that he's gonna go whenever he's on the line. You know that he's gonna make it. All right, I'm putting the game on because we want the Suns in 4. Again.
So you still got you haven't cashed in?
My bet's still rolling, baby. My bet is going.
Little bit worried when Chris Paul got COVID?
He's back tonight though. But man, this is a team that I'm if I was one of the opponents, I'd be worried about.
Yeah, they're fun to watch, the Suns.
The first series was going to be the one that really told the tale of them, and they blew through the Lakers, and I'm like, all right, they're real.
So we're talking about my Suns.
My sons.
Our Suns for the playoffs.
Our Suns. Just for the playoffs. After the playoffs.
Just until they either make us money or lose us money.
Just until they make us money.
You've got the same bet going?
Well, we went in together.
We went
you went
together.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just to up the ante a little bit.
Yeah. No, so I don't know anything about hockey. I wish I could talk about hockey. Didn't you used to do sports broadcast or like play-by-play for hockey?
I did not do hockey. We the biggest sport that we did was hockey, but I didn't know enough about it.
Oh,
so
okay.
I took more basketball during the winter.
How do you not know about hockey when you grew up in Michigan?
I was a basketball fan growing up.
Good for you.
So typically, I mean, people are. It's rare to find people who are both basketball and hockey fans because
they're playing at the same time. Yeah. That is weird how basketball and hockey basically both have the same schedule, and the Stanley Cup's going on at the same time as the late rounds of the NBA playoffs. I mean, everyone says summer's kind of boring for sports, but this time of year is great. I think.
I love this time of year with sports.
Yeah, I mean, they're like no football, no whatever. I'm like,
but you had the draft in April. You've got the combine coming. You got all that stuff that comes through and kind of falls into into the baseball season and basketball playoffs and things.
Yeah, we're just talking about the Suns. So, what do we think? What about Kawhi? Is he going to be?
Is he going to be available before they get put out?
Is it going to be that reason that they lose the series, or is Paul George going to be the reason they lose the series? Because they're losing the series. Because it's going to be Suns in 4.
Suns in 4, baby.
We already know.
What do you think, John? Kawhi going to be the scapegoat for this, or are they going to play Paul George?
So Kawhi makes decisions for Kawhi, and yeah, I don't think he'll probably be back by the end of the series, and yeah, they'll probably go down in 4 or 5 games. However, the Hawks are going to be tough.
That's going to be
Hawks Suns is going to be a tough.
If the Hawks and the Suns are in the finals, I think it'll draw some ratings more so than people.
They're
think,
saying the ratings are down this year though because of the smaller markets.
Yeah, and it probably is.
But I mean, as a small market guy, I fucking love it.
Yeah, because
I don't want to.
Dude, you got Devin Booker going against Trae Young in the finals. Wouldn't that be a great finals matchup?
That'd be a fucking matchup. Man.
Clint Capella, DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah,
it'd be a crazy good matchup.
Yeah. I mean, I think Capella will dominate Ayton though. I don't think he's ready. I don't think Ayton's ready for it.
Capella's a dog. Capella's a dog. I'd take that dude on my team. I started out.
I don't think Ayton's quite ready for that. Give me a couple years, he'll be there.
He's really starting to shine a little bit.
Yeah.
He had to hit a good game in Game 2 against the Clippers. It's going to be pretty interesting.
It is, yeah, definitely. So we're talking about the NBA Finals. I was going to talk about who's going to be your favorite for the Super Bowl this year because we just talked about kind of the draft picks last night about who's going to go where, what kind of trades need to be made. So John obviously think the Lions are going to go all the way this year.
Of course. First Super Bowl.
Not with Jared Goff.
Oh, of course with Jared.
No way. I am a Jared Goff fan. There's not a chance in hell. The Colts got a better chance with Carson Wentz.
Who are his running backs this year? Was it a 5 running back core that they usually have?
Did they keep Kerryon Johnson?
Did they get rid of Kerryon? I think they got rid of Kerryon Johnson.
So they've got Is it Swift?
Swift, yes.
Really
they drafted him last year.
Yeah, he's fine.
Good serviceable running back.
Yeah.
Galladay's gone.
Galladay is gone. They drafted a guy who seems like he should be pretty good.
I'm sorry, buddy. I hate.
Oh, here we go. Penei Sewell. Oh, they got an offensive tackle.
Yeah.
They got a couple defensive tackles in their draft. They got here we go. Amon Ra St. Brown. They think is going to be probably their best receiver, and he's a rookie.
Yeah. Have fun. Goff's going to get put on his ass somewhere.
So with that being said, it sounds like they're probably going to be fourth in the NFC North.
Actually, the line maybe okay. It could be better than what the Rams have. The problem is there's just no receivers.
Yeah. I mean, he has no targets at all.
Yeah, nothing.
Get Megatron out of retirement. Just bring back Megatron.
There was an interview or something with him not too long ago, maybe a week or 2 ago. That dude looks like he can still play.
Who, Calvin Johnson?
Yes.
He looks like it.
It was his Hall of Fame enshrinement. God, he looks like an animal still.
He's not that old.
No. What? It's crazy. What is it with the Detroit? They run their best players out early in retirement. They did it to Barry Sanders. They did it to Calvin Johnson. What's the deal
Barry
there?
Sanders was a specific circumstance with Bobby Ross had a system that Barry Sanders hated.
Bobby Ross was
that was different. And then Calvin Johnson, the rumor is that he had issues with concussions.
Well, yeah.
You get to a certain point where you make enough money, and he had a decent number of endorsements for being in the size of a city like Detroit. And I think he probably just made enough money, saw things on the horizon, and just got out while he could.
He said,
can't be mad about it.
Yeah.
Smart man.
No.
Get your money and get out while you still got your health.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck's a prime example of that. Get your money and get out while you got your health.
Man, he fucked us dirty, though.
He fucked us pretty good, but you know what? I still got a ton of respect for him. Because he got out.
You know what?
But also some of it may be the fact that Detroit isn't that expensive to live. So probably Calvin Johnson made a decent amount of money on the side, and he could retire.
Is he still living there or not? Because I feel like you wouldn't want to live in Detroit.
Where did he come out of? USC? Is he a USC guy?
No. Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So he's an East Coast guy.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't even know. But DeAndre Ayton, 73% field goal percentage this postseason.
Sorry, everybody. We got the game going here.
That's pretty fucking insane. That's
big boy numbers right there.
Yeah, he needs to get a little bigger. You know what I mean? He just needs to get a little more weight on him.
Yeah,
get a little more muscle.
At 7 foot, he's 260. He needs to be bigger.
He's a skinny guy, man. So, all right, our favorite for the Super Bowl, mine is the Colts, obviously. No, not really. I'm taking, like I said last night. I mean, we didn't really go too deep into it. I'm taking the Chiefs. Are you taking the Bucks?
Honestly,
John's taking the Lions.
I'm taking the Lions.
I
gotta believe every year.
He's a ride or die. He's a ride or die.
Until they go to their first Super Bowl, I gotta choose.
Yeah. Being 100% realist, I'd probably take Tampa Bay to repeat.
Whatever.
I hate to say it.
Boring.
But who's going to beat them? They re-signed. They hustled. They got great free agent pickups this year.
Yeah.
They brought back Shaq Barrett.
They're going to be good.
They're going to be tough to beat.
Speaking of dirty, what about this MLB sticky substance? What the hell is going on in the majors right now? It's just going in. I mean, they're already a dysfunctional league. This is just making they're talking about moving the pitcher's mound back a foot. They haven't done that. Now that the sticky stuff, it's like, what the hell is actually going on in the major leagues right now?
Man, I want to hear John's opinion. I love baseball. I grew up watching baseball all the time.
I did too.
I grew up going to baseball games, but the more I learn about it, it's just such a dirty sport.
It is.
It has a history of being a dirty sport with things like, a lot of pitchers probably use that, sticky stuff to get an advantage. There's the Kenny Rogers that you guys may remember.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
From that Detroit St. Louis World Series.
Yep.
Probably a lot of pitchers use this shit.
Well, even batters.
Yeah.
But is it?
And then the balls, the MLB charged the balls so that they would get more home runs.
Back in the Sosa McGuire era, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
So
you think about
steroids, all this stuff. There's just so much cheating in baseball that it makes it.
And there's so many.
The Astros beating on trash cans.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's so many easy ways to cheat in baseball.
Mm-hmm. There really is.
Whether it's putting the pine tar up on the bat, corking the bat, with the ball, putting shit on the ball. There's a lot of
George Brett.
George Brett had the pine. Remember, he had the pine tar all the way up past. You weren't supposed to have it it could not touch the Louisville Slugger emblem. He had it a foot past it, and then he charges the mound after he got the home run. That was funny as hell.
But do you think looking at it in a I guess kind of a devil's advocate, is a lot of this coming to fruition, and is it a lot of the hitters doing the bitching and complaining because the hits and the home runs aren't coming like they have been in the past?
I think the
pitchers are getting better.
No, I think it's the upper whoever's the higher ups in the league are saying, well, shit, we're not having as many teams aren't scoring as much now. It's getting boring again. We need to.
I would rather watch a 2-1 ball game than a 10-9 ball game.
Not me.
I would in a heartbeat.
Not me.
I'm a purist when it comes to baseball.
I don't give a shit. They can cheat all they want. Use all the steroids you want. I want to see some dingers. I want dingers.
I'm a purist.
What do you think, John? John wants dingers. Come on.
I mean, baseball is just...
Chicks dig the long ball.
I mean, we grew up in an era where everyone was cheating in baseball.
But all of this, like, it coming to light just, like, makes it so hard to watch. I'd rather spend time watching soccer, as you
Or would you rather not know about it and have them cheating? Or would you rather know about it? Like, would you rather just be kept secret from you? And
honestly, I'd rather know than not know. But, yeah, it does change my opinion. It makes me less interested in watching the sport. So maybe for their interest, I shouldn't know.
I remember, so I was 16 when McGuire and Sosa had their big runs. That was a battle, man.
Bonds. Yeah,
man,
it was great.
No,
I watched
it. It was good for baseball.
I'm talking about the year that McGuire broke Maris's record, 99. Or 98, my bad. I was 15, so I was 15. I mean, I remember, the funny thing is, I was paying attention to the all year, and I thought Griffey was going to break it. If it started out, Griffey and Vinny Castillo were kind of the guys in the lead. And then McGuire was around there. Sosa didn't come around until like late June.
Yeah.
He didn't really start hitting him out until then. But
neither did his melon or his arms.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, it's funny because like I remember watching the game where McGuire hit number 62, and because it was on Fox, it was like a national televised game. It was. For me, it was insane. A guy broke the home run record, and then a few years later, you find out about steroids and all this shit, and it's just like it tarnishes what you thought of them at the time.
Sure,
but we all
they were heroes. They were icons.
We all should have known that because you look at Sosa from like 10 years prior, dude weighed like $140.
Barry Bonds was the same way.
And then
the first one that I remember,
Bonds could hit the ball.
But maybe it was just because I was a Tigers fan, but the first one that hit a ton of home runs, I think 51 home runs in 1 year was Fielder.
Yeah.
And that was a really big deal when he hit 50 home runs.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it was like 5-10 years later, everyone's hitting 50 runs. Freaking Brady Anderson. Another little guy, all of a sudden is hitting 55, 60
Was he a shortstop or something like that, or second baseman?
What was the lefty from the Dodgers? No. The lefty from the Dodgers that was a rail thin guy, and he was just crushing the ball. Sean Green?
I don't know.
Was it Sean Green?
I don't know what you're talking about. But
yeah, there are all kinds of those guys, and then crazy.
Go ahead. The funny thing
then some of it was the baseball. That's the thing. Like some of it was a compressed baseball that they used. Yep. Not only, and then you add steroids to that, and it's just crazy.
Funny thing was Cecil Fielder was just a big dude with a lot of power.
And there were no Japan.
There were no PEDs. He was just a big guy.
And he was in Japan. He started. He failed in the majors. Went to Japan. Started crushing homers in Japan. Came back to U.S. Played for the Tigers, and then that was a huge deal in the
I loved him
Michigan
growing
area.
Up. Yeah, I mean, I loved him. I mean, he was just that pudgy guy that just walks to the plate and just nails him. I know, just like his son. I mean,
he was a first baseman. He just couldn't move.
No.
He just got out there. He hit his home runs.
Sounds like me without the home runs.
And that was back in the Tiger Stadium too, of like old Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
Where it was like
Just a question: who's everybody here's? Let's go all time favorite baseball players.
You got to give me a second.
Since we're on baseball topic,
you got to give me a second.
Are you going with Cecil Fielder, being a Tigers guy, or Miggy?
Alan Trammell.
Actually, I was gonna say Alan Trammell.
Yes.
That was classic shortstop, like just solid
ball player.
Yeah.
I tried to think of the second most famous Tiger I could think of.
Lou Whitaker's up there too.
Alan Trammell came to mind.
Alan Trammell, Miguel Cabrera.
I like Cabrera. Cabrera's always been high
Jack
on my
Morris.
list.
Oh, he was a great pitcher, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike? Who's your all-time baseball player coming up?
There was when I was coming up, it was Griffey because he was just like cool young guy.
I think that was everybody.
He's at the home run. He's at the home run derby with his hat on backwards. Yeah. He was totally different from every other major league player. He was just cool.
He was the kid. He was the kid.
He was so cool. But I think my favorite of all time, even though he had a very short career, was Bo Jackson. Just because, I mean, dude's a human highlight reel. Or he was.
He is without question the worst situation in sports history, where injuries took the toll on him so bad.
Who the hell knows what would have happened to him?
I think he would have been. He would have probably been the first and only player to ever be enshrined into the Major League Hall of Fame and the NFL Hall of Fame.
I mean, also aside from Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders was another one. Oh, those two sport players, man. And Sanders for the Braves, because the Braves were my team at the time, and I love speedy guys, man. So, anyways, we're gonna get rolling because John's looking at his watch because Laura's pregnant and she's
gonna kill him probably.
I mean, I don't know. You never know what those hormones are gonna do, but I guarantee she's out there with Kim right now, laughing and having a good time. She doesn't even know what time it is. She doesn't even know where she's at. But why don't we go European Soccer League? That's your thing, John.
Let's go.
Let's talk about this.
All right, let's talk about Euro soccer.
So I don't. My thing is I don't know. We've talked about this before. I don't know shit about soccer, man. But
let's do it.
So they're down to the field of 16, correct?
Yes, correct.
So this round starts.
So they
next
started
Tuesday.
in groups of 4, and all those teams play each other one time, and then the 2 teams with the highest number of points in each group then move on to the knockout stage. And then a certain number, I can't remember how many third-place teams also make it in until they get 16 total teams. And then it's a single knockout game.
All right. So once you get to round 16,
and then it's
almost like
win or go home.
It's almost like
the Sweet 16.
Like a Sweet 16 for soccer.
Exactly. Okay, Sweet 16. That's it.
What happens if you tie though?
Then you go to extra time.
Just keep going until
you go to extra time until it's settled, and then and then there's shootout. Eventually, after 2
it's like in hockey.
Extra time periods, you go to shootout.
Okay.
Yep.
So you being a guy in the know with soccer, who right now stands out as probably the favorite to win?
Okay, so going into the tournament, I would have said, for example, one team I would expect would have been one of the top teams is Germany. Germany has a really good team. They dominated Portugal last week, but they tied Hungary this week, and they almost didn't make it to the knockout stage. So that was a huge surprise. Now, who are the favorites, you're asking?
I'm going France.
France would be, you are correct.
I just made that up.
The damn French.
France.
Good
England,
soccer over there.
Sweden has been a big surprise.
What about Spain?
Very good. Spain is a bit young right now. I'm not sure if Spain is going to make it very far. Belgium's up there. The Netherlands has been very impressive as as well.
So it sounds like there's a handful of teams that could probably make
Italy has been really impressive.
Yeah.
They've got another young team that it's surprising that they were that dominant in their games. Those would be some of the ones that I would look at. But yeah, France is definitely probably at the top right now.
Since Chad and I love to bet, I'm gonna go down these 8 games. You give me
You
give me your pick.
All right.
For Saturday.
All right, and I will give what I think the keys to each game are.
Go for it.
Let's go.
Go for it. All right, Saturday we got Wales and Denmark.
Ooh. Denmark just had the player Christian Eriksen that went down with a cardiac arrest.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
I didn't see that. That's terrible.
I saw that. Yeah.
So that's tough. They've been running on fumes. I think there's going to be a lot of fans and a lot of support behind them.
I was going to say, will that give them a little boost?
But I think Wales is just too good.
Really?
Wales, they have Gareth Bale, who's really good. They've got a really strong team. But you never know. That emotions and everything may take Denmark over the top.
Okay. Italy and Australia. Oh, sorry, Austria. No, my bad.
Yeah, Australia.
Australia's not in Europe. I know.
Italy has looked very good. They've got a really young team, and I've been impressed with them so far. I think that they're going to move on.
Okay. Sunday's games: Netherlands and Czech Republic.
Netherlands, another team like them with Italy. They've been one of the most impressive teams of the tournament.
I think the Netherlands always have a pretty good soccer team.
They didn't make it to the last World Cup.
Really?
Yeah, they have had their ups and downs. One of their generational players, Arjen Robben, has stopped playing for that, or at least wasn't on this team. But they've got a really young team again, and they've been dominant.
What's young as far as soccer goes?
Early 20s.
It's the same as same as or any kind of American sport, I guess.
Generally, soccer players peak somewhere between 25 and 30.
That's a short career right there. You gotta make that money.
It's a lot of running. It's a lot of speed.
I know it's a lot of cardio, and I'm sure it's horribly terrible on your lower extremities too. It's a lot of high impact movements.
Well, yeah, it is. All right,
next one.
All right, Monday's games: Croatia and Spain.
Hang on, you forgot Belgium, Portugal.
Oh,
sorry. Second game on Sunday. So I thought my bad. I've been drinking for a few hours. Belgium, Portugal, Sunday.
Yeah, I think Belgium's going to tear them apart. Portugal obviously has one of the best players in the world.
That's very bold.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, the thing is, though, they're kind of an older team. They play
Ronaldo plays for.
They play more of a sit back, play defense, and then counterattack.
I feel like
I thought Portugal was going to be one of the best teams, but watching them, they were outclassed in almost every game this tournament. The last game they played against France, they tied, but it was only because of 2 penalty kicks from Ronaldo.
Really?
So if they don't get those kind of, they were justified, but still, if they get those penalty kicks, legitimately, they're just not getting the chances that they need to get against a good team like Belgium. I think Belgium wipes the floor with Portugal.
Belgium is a lock.
I would. If the money is good, I would bet Belgium.
Belgium's a lock. All right. Monday's games: Croatia and Spain.
So Spain certainly has the talent.
I think this one's a little tougher for you.
But this one's a little tough because Croatia, they were runners-up in the last World Cup. They have a lot of strong players, but Spain will probably win.
Spain. Going to Spain. All right, I think we already know your answer for the next one.
Yep.
But it is France and Switzerland.
Yeah, France.
No question.
No hesitation.
France's second stringers could still probably make it to the Final Four.
Wow.
Like France has so much talent compared to the rest of the teams in the
So it sounds like we're going to put some money on the French.
I mean,
to win it.
The odds probably aren't great for them either. Though.
One bad game and you're out.
Yeah.
That's the tough thing about this tournament.
I mean, it's not like you're scoring. It's not like basketball where there's 120 points in the game. It's literally 2-3 or 2-1. Well, I mean,
and that's why Portugal plays their way, because if they sit back and relax, they can get that one goal.
Yeah.
And maybe you won't be able to get that.
That might be all you need.
Yeah.
I mean, all you need is
I think this will be the hardest one for him to pick is the Tuesday game.
I don't know, man. I think
what is it?
Because you pointed out both of these teams earlier.
Yeah, but I think I know who he's going to pick.
England and Germany.
I think I know who he's going to pick.
I think he's going to take Germany.
That's why
I'm going to pick England.
You're going to take England in this one?
I'm going to take England.
Ooh.
So
I feel like that's
Germany has been...
Is this going to be a game that I should watch?
I think that this is going to be a good game.
Okay.
Yes, England, Germany, as we listed, Belgium, Portugal. Those are, of all the games you listed, I think those are going to be the most exciting games to watch.
Belgium, Portugal, and England, Germany. All right.
England, Germany. Germany is one of the most talented teams in the tournament, but they put in 2 absolute clunkers.
Mm-hmm.
And again, in a knockout stage tournament, yeah, they could.
But were they being conservative?
But they could wipe the floor with England, or they could get wiped out.
Could they have just been saving their bodies? I mean, you never know.
Germany has, again, one of the most talented teams. England also does. That's the thing. England has right up there with France, probably one of the 2 or 3 most talented teams in the tournament. The problem is probably Germany is in the top 5. So this is basically a semifinal game that they're having in the very first round of the tournament.
It's going to be one of those must-watch games.
It's going to be really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Last one, Sweden and the Ukraine.
Sweden has looked so strong this tournament. They've got a very young team, and I've been really impressed with them.
Yeah. Okay.
So with that being said, overall, who's winning? Who's taking the Euro Cup?
It's going to be hard for anyone to beat France.
You think France going to take it all?
They have everything.
Shad's just thinking money in his
They have a great goalkeeper.
Yeah,
they have
doing
great
right
defenders,
now,
great midfield, great attackers.
Okay.
There's no weakness to
you
France
heard it
at
here.
all. But
take France. Put your money on it to win it all.
Oh, God.
But France tied Hungary, and they tied Portugal. And so even though they have the most talented team in the tournament, doesn't mean they're going to actually put.
Were they acting like the Lakers and have a shit regular season and just
potentially?
It did seem like, especially in that Portugal game, that they were just kind of making it to the knockout stage. But Hungary took them and almost beat them.
Okay.
I'm saying it again. I did it in the Kentucky Derby, and I told you who to take.
You did you did say we should take.
And I'm telling you right now.
But
I'm telling you again. I'm going 2 for 2. Take France to win it all.
I don't know. I would almost, I'd have to see what the odds are, but I almost would bet maybe Belgium. I'd have to look at like the where the teams are.
No, don't talk me out of it now. I'm putting my money on.
Let me look at where the teams are. Let me look
at
at where the most dangerous teams in the tournament. And if there's a certain half of the tournament that doesn't have any, many.
Here's the points. I don't know what that means. Oh,
okay.
Home, away.
Oh, what's the
bracketing?
The brackets, like? Yeah. What does the bracket look like? That's what I.
Oh, I don't know.
That would help.
We should probably look at that, but I don't know. So, man.
So here we go. We got.
Man, you're right.
Belgium, Portugal, Italy, Austria, France, Switzerland, Croatia, Spain on one side.
That's too dangerous. Okay, what's the other side?
Then the other side we got Sweden, Ukraine, England, Germany, Netherlands, Czech, Wales, Denmark.
Man, maybe the winner of that England-Germany game is probably going to win that whole side.
Really?
Probably.
But who takes it all? If you got France and Germany in the finals, who are you taking?
France.
Definitely. There it is, folks. Put it on France. Put the money on the French.
The thing is, though, they have so many dangerous teams on that left side that is imbalanced.
So that bracket is much stronger than the other bracket. Okay.
The right side is a lot weaker, but the thing is, though, Germany, England, whoever wins is probably going to have a much easier path through than France will.
Okay.
I love how we sit here and talk about sports all night. John chimes in. He gives his opinions on stuff. As soon as it comes to soccer, John's like fucking Rain Man.
I love soccer.
Oh my god,
it's great.
Nobody else. The
U.S. team. Hey, we beat Mexico.
I know.
We beat Mexico.
I know, man. I'm excited about it. I just don't. You and I need to go, like you said, go to an English pub.
We do. We need to go to an English pub. You need to be acquainted with real soccer.
All right,
yeah.
I'm down, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we're at 47 minutes. I know John's got to get going soon. So, we had a great time, you guys.
Great time as always.
Oh, always. So, all right, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.